As a young person, it is about being open-minded. Sometimes we are looking for only white-collar jobs. They are not there. And engineering is a hands-on profession. So you want to be flexible, accessible, while you can do the white-collar aspects of project planning, writing reports, writing proposals. You can also put on your overall and get your hands dirty and combine it with your business acumen and even sell these products. I think that is where the way to go these days, but also bringing on board that on-the-go process. You don't have to be seated in an office. You can provide a service online. Is someone in Mbarara, can you leave Kampala with whatever is required and go and install and come back? Yes. Are you willing to come to Moroto and provide a service? Yes, you should be able to do that. Are you willing to come to Tororo and provide a service? Yes. Because that is how people earn money now. That flexibility, that agility, that there's work here, you know where to find the equipment, you have your network, either you have the source or you know people who can give you things even on credit. You've built maybe a partnership with them. When you're paid, you pay them back. Or you have your little capital, you pay them back. Of course, you bill your client in a certain way, and then you're able to save the profit. But also remembering to save. You know, Indians are one of those people best known for financial discipline. For us Ugandans, you can get a good deal, and as soon as your paycheck comes, the first thing you invite Patricia, you invite all your friends to take us out for a drink. At much later in my life, I met an Indian at a course, and I remember they were giving us some allowances at the end of this training, and most of us women, and we're in India, were running to buy fabric and jewelry and perfumes. And we were asking where to go. And, you know, somehow he told me, doctor, you know, it is not good to rush to do these things. Yeah, maybe one or two things. But you see, for me, at a very young age, I learned that any unexpected, because this was unexpected money. You see those conferences where they give you full board, they pay your ticket and accommodate you. So this was surprise money. And I'm like, so since this is surprise money, me, I'm going to shop. And he told me, no, any surprise money you get, or any money you get, always save 10% of it. And I started that habit of saving 10% of it. And for me as a mother, I have two sons. One is 16, almost 17, the other is 7. One thing I did for them is that each child that I gave birth to, I would open for them an account. So in that 10%, when I save my 10%, maybe sometimes you go to a workshop and they surprise you and they say, oh, we're giving you a fuel refund, they give you 50,000. I'll split that money into two and I put into their account. So of course the older boy has more money because he's almost 17. The younger man has money equivalent to his age, because when he was born is when I started. And also on every month when I get paid. You know, things like 50, 100,000 seem small. But just imagine now the older boy, each month I have done a standing order where I pay 100,000 per month into his account without thinking about it. He's a rich man. I even remember there's a point when I lost my job. I had to talk to him. I'm like, now, you see, you're the only one with money in this home. Can I borrow some of your money? And even laughed. Because much as it's his money, he doesn't even know how this money is making itself. Okay. And I was surprised, of course, so he takes on our mommy now to borrow my money. How much are you borrowing? When will you pay it back? But you see, it also teaches him as a young man that discipline. Because what I do with that money is that each year at the end of the year, I've taught them something called a want and a need. You know, women, for us, it is always about a want. But I've taught them that there's a want and a need. So if my son asks me for something today, I'll tell him no. That one is not essential, that is a want. You can do without it, but you desire it. But a need is like food, like water, like books, like pencils. So if it is a want, I will try to get it for you. If it is a need, if it is a need, I will try to get it for you. But if it is a want, we have to wait either for the end of the month because I'm paid at the month, but mostly I encourage them to wait for end of year. Then they said, okay, this year you have 1.2 in your account. So what have you been wanting? They'll say Nintendo, I don't know, a new phone. What can this money buy? But we can't use all the money. So how much are we getting? Okay, so I'll top this up for you. So also, as a young person, learning early enough. So this is something I remember my dad, like there were so many kids, but each month he gives each of us some money, even if it's a coin, encourage us to have a piggy bank, then later open for us accounts. Some people would just withdraw the money, which he allowed us to access annually. Okay? Or sometimes he said, I am saving you for this. You don't see the money, but he documents it in a book. Then at the end of the day, he tells you, now your money can buy a goat. Now your money can buy a cow. So you know you finish school and you have your goats, cows. Some people got rid of those things. They're like, I mean, I'm not a farmer. So they do what they want with their money. But also, what am I saying? Maybe in future, if you become a parent, something you can think about. You might already be a parent, you know, with young men. Sometimes you're very quick. But it is also a skill you can pass on. But if it is also a skill you can start now. That there can be that random money. Sometimes someone will give you a tip because you've done for them something. Do you have transport to go back home today? Yes. Do you have food today? Yes. Had you planned to go out today? No. So why don't you save that money? It looks little. So you can save in an account, a bank account. But if you don't have these days, there are those phone apps, Momo something. There are those apps where you can just put your little money, 5,000, 1,000 and things like that. And you save your money. So those are the different ways you can start planning. Because at the end of the day, we do all these many different things to be able to have an income to take care of ourselves. With all this passion, at the end of the day, we need basic needs, we need welfare. So yes, you might have a passion in this, but yes, we do it for the sake of the passion, but it is so that we can take care of ourselves and people who depend on us. So for me, that's the advice I give, and I hope that it has been useful. I don't know if there's anything else you'd like me to speak to.
So for people joining the professional world, would you recommend them to generalize or should they specialize when they're trying to go into the work field?
Well, for me, I would advise that you eventually specialize. But you know, specializing too early before you have honed your skills can also be a disadvantage. Yes? I'll give you an example, like people who do education. It is sort of generic. In whichever subject area, either an art area or a science area, but you'll find that some of them end up in banking, some of them end up in teaching, some of them end up maybe as a government, I don't know what, yes? So in engineering as well, in the beginning, what are you good at? What can you genuinely say, I have graduated and knowing how Uganda trains, and my specialty is this. You said you're very interested in telecom. But when I ask you, where did you do internship from? It was not even in telecom. So is your passion really in telecom, or you are just looking for a place that will give you internship?
Well, I'm looking, you know, telecom is it's an interesting field. When I read about it and I studied about it,
So it's interesting. My question is, what have you done about it? And that is what we need to think about. You have to be deliberate to prepare yourself. So much as opportunities may not be there in telecom, you can prepare yourself to link to telecom. How? For instance, I don't know if you got interested in telecom before or after your internship, but what you should have done is to seek for internship in a telecom company. And not just the big ones, MTN and Airtel. These days we even have this small smile, the data, yes. So for me, you should look to interface with where you can get skills in telecom. Right now, you're not. So yes, you love telecom, you like electromagnetics, but you've done nothing about it. So the first step is to seek out, go to those places and see if there's placements. Are you willing to work as a volunteer? Do you want to be paid? Do you just want to get experience? For how long? You know, you must have a plan. Some of those places will give you an offering for 1 to 3 months. And after that, they'll expect you to leave. Other places will even expect you to pay them to train you. Now, if you have some money, it makes sense to pay them. If you don't have money, but also telecom people forget radio, television. Those are telecom people. I remember when I started out in journalism, we had technicians who used to operate those machines. These days we have self-op where sometimes they expect you to do everything. But also, if you go to a radio, television station, there's an opportunity to use those skills. So The trick is in knowing the skills I've acquired and what areas that I'm interested in. Where are those different areas that I can go to? And another beauty is that these days, for you, you're lucky, your generation, is that you can go online and ask Google, ChatGPT, I don't know who, if I did electrical engineering, what are the possible professional options available in the world? Don't say in Uganda, because Uganda is small. Also be open-minded that actually an opportunity will come where they're posting in another country. Then some of you, oh, I don't want to leave my mother, I don't want to leave. No, be open-minded. We are becoming a global community. So you should be able to go and work in Rwanda, in South Sudan, and we're also having that open-mindedness. But even within Uganda itself, many of us, I want to work either in Mbarara or Kampala. That's where I was born and bred. But I should be willing to go and work in Uganda. You reach there and you're surprised that no, it is actually a nice place to be. I can work in Moroto. It is actually a place I can go work. So also that open-mindedness, that the thing you're interested in, the only opportunity is in Kabong, which is in Karamoja. Are you willing to go there? Or you're worried about your mother, worried about crossing the Nile and going to a different part of the world. So the way you treat Uganda, openness to inclusivity and diversity, should also enable you to have a broad mind where you end up. I know most of us think about Europe and America, but there are so many places in Asia, within Africa itself, the Philippines, I don't know where, Vietnam, all these are places we can work at. Afghanistan. So some people, they have enhanced their skills the best when they've gone to some of these countries. Yes.
So if I'm to ask, what are some of the things that recruiters look for in early entry in young professionals?
Young professionals, young engineers, I think most recruiters look for one thing. First of all, we look for intellect. Are you intelligent? Are you firm? Are you respectful? But are you open-minded? Because much as you're a graduate in this, the real world is a bit different, the practicality of things. So you must show willingness to learn. Some people, especially as a trainee, you've done internship, you know that the whole time you might not do anything related to engineering. You're the one they send to photocopy, you're the mailman, you're the one buying your boss lunch. But sometimes they're just testing character. Will you be rude because you're a graduate engineer? And for you don't go to buy food for your boss. For you don't clean after yourself. For you don't photocopy. So that flexibility. But we also look for innovation. Yes, but innovation coming in a respectful way. Because you see people like me, it has taken me over 26 years to build my skill. Yes, so I think I know, and I think the good old way. So if you come to suggest things to me, you should do it in a respectful way, but show me, seek for opportunities. But if I feel that you're forceful, you're wrong, you old people, you know nothing, of course you're a threat to me, so I shut you out, I get rid of you. So sometimes as young people, we lose that opportunity. So you show willingness, show flexibility, willingness to learn, but also demonstrate innovation. I recall last year we had a young of IT students coming to work with us because I oversee a division that has communication, IT, and a resource center and registry. So these young men came, and one day they said, doctor, we need to see you over something. I'm like, okay. So I thought maybe as young people, they want more work, but also that is a good thing. Or they want, for us, we don't get allowance as trainees. I wasn't sure what they wanted, but looking at the usual practice. And they surprised me and said, doctor, the 1 month we've been here, we've realized there's a better way the ministry would be managing its record management. For us, we're using the good old manual where we have forms, we fill, we sign, we file. Sometimes they get lost. And they had developed a software that could enable me track assets without chasing people down the corridor. They coded these things. You know, it was beautiful. So my job was to review and said, this is missing. Can you incorporate this? Can we have levels of rights? Because even in asset management, we have levels of rights. So that showed innovation, yes? And it was a very huge team, but as I continued to interact with them, I actually realized there are only 2 people who are doing the work, the others are going along. Okay? And as I interacted with those people, I remained with one person. And you know, sometimes then there are opportunities. They're either temporary something or what. You know, you give this person an opportunity because he's already demonstrated ability. There was another young man several years ago. I used to teach at Makerere Mass Communication. And this student used to argue a lot, but at the same time, there was something intriguing about this student. So, you know, I came to my class and said, I would like to offer you and you an internship opportunity in my department. And the other people were like, why? But there's something special I had seen in them because I was interacting with them. So I gave them a training opportunity. So there were interns in my department. And you know, you observe people. You don't necessarily have to tell them that you're observing them. And then they finished the internship and left. Fast forward 6 months later, there's an opening. But I only called one of them. One of them had shown responsibility, being respectful, innovation, seeking advice, and willingness to grow. And this student was older. Okay? And you know, me being a female activist, you'd expect that I would give the woman the opportunity. And sometimes that is the mistake we make as women. So for me, as a woman activist, I said I always prefer the gender portrayal. We are balancing women and men. So each year I would give 2 training opportunities to mass comm students. 1 male, 1 female.